Hey friends, Jamboo! Welcome back to another video. Welcome if this is your first time here. Happy New Year to you guys. I know it's 5 months into the new year, but this is my first YouTube video of the year and I feel like I haven't spoken to you guys in a while. So happy New Year to you guys. I hope that 2024 has been going well so far. I apologize, I did go MIA. I was having a bit of health struggles and I had to take some time off from YouTube and just from a lot of stuff, but I feel so much better now and I'm ready to just go back to doing the stuff that I love, such as making YouTube videos. This past year has taught me that I actually do enjoy making YouTube videos and I just love this whole process of recording videos, editing the videos and uploading them. I enjoy the whole process and I actually miss doing this. Anyway, today I'm gonna be sharing with you some tips on how to retain length on fine natural hair. So I do have fine type 4 natural hair, and having fine hair just means that your individual hair strands are on the thinner side, and the opposite of that is having coarse hair. Someone with coarse hair has thicker hair strands. So I used to think that having fine hair just means that texture-wise your hair feels soft, but actually having fine hair just means that you have thin hair strands. My number one tip for retaining length on fine natural hair is using gentle detangling methods. I know that this is something that a lot of us keep hearing all the time, but I think this is very important, especially for people with fine hair, because like I mentioned, having fine hair means that our hair strands are on the thinner side. That means that our hair strands are more susceptible to breakage. Any form of aggressiveness on hair, more so fine hair, may expeditiously lead to breakage. I feel like one of the main reasons why a lot of us struggle with retaining length is because we experience a lot of breakage. We do have new growth, our hair is growing, yes, but then it's breaking twice as fast as it's growing. Some of the examples of gentle detangling methods include finger detangling and using a wide tooth comb. I personally love finger detangling because it's very easy for me to feel for knots and tangles in my hair strands, and it's easy for me to just take my time and try to separate the knots and tangles. If you're using a comb for detangling, I think there's a way you can still be gentle with how you deal with your hair. Try to avoid forcefully pulling onto your hair strands, especially when you feel like you have a knot or tangle. Instead of trying to forcefully comb out the knot or tangle, maybe stop using the comb at that point and try using your fingers to separate that knot or tangle. Try to apply some oil or some grease on that knot or tangle, because I feel like sometimes if you have a knot or a tangle and you take some oil and apply it on there, it's gonna get the strands oiled up and easier for them to slide out of the knot or the tangle. Yeah, just try to be gentle, especially when you have knots and tangles. And sometimes it's pretty difficult to get rid of the knot or tangle. So the second best option for me is to just cut it off with a pair of scissors. Instead of trying to separate it and trying to tug onto my hair in an attempt to try and get rid of that knot or tangle, I just grab my scissors and cut it off. Cutting it off means that your hair is still going to grow, but it's gonna grow healthy. Compared to pulling it, you're just gonna make that whole hair strand weak, and eventually most of it is going to break off. Using gentle detangling methods is something that I think everyone with every hair type can benefit from. But I think more so people with fine hair, because like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, we have very thin hair, and any small form of aggressiveness and our hair is going to the land of breakage. Since we're talking about length retention on fine type 4 hair, I think it's really important for me to quickly mention one of my biggest tips that has helped me grow out my hair, because the premise of this video is our hair growing, and then that's when we're gonna be able to retain the length. So my biggest tip that has helped me grow out my hair is leaving my hair alone. I usually just put my hair in a protective style and leave it alone for weeks at a time and just try to find ways to moisturize my hair. So I have a video coming up and I'm gonna share with you guys how you can moisturize your hair while it's in different protective hairstyles. But my biggest tips for growing hair, whether it's type 4, fine hair, coarse hair, high porosity, low porosity, is just leaving the hair alone and finding a way to still keep it moisturized. My second tip is avoiding tight hairstyles. This has been a personal struggle of mine because I do love tight ponytails. I feel like tight ponytails give me a facelift that I really love. So I do have a bit of an addiction to tight ponytails, and I've been doing a lot of tight ponytails this past year, and I can tell you for sure that my edges took a hit. I barely have any edges, mostly because I've been doing a lot of tight ponytails. Again, this is something that obviously even someone with coarse hair should probably try and avoid. But again, more so for someone with fine hair because our hair strands are thin. Avoiding tight hairstyles also involves avoiding braiding your hair too tightly. I think in the past we used to have this notion that the more tightly braided the hair is, the better it looks, which I think most of us have come to realize that that's probably not the case, because a lot of times if we get our hair braided too tightly, we end up developing those bumps on our scalp because of putting so much tension on our hair strands and our scalp. My third tip is using heat responsibly. I personally don't think that heat is bad. It just depends on how you use it. If you use heat responsibly, I think that you're still gonna be able to maintain healthy hair and you can still retain length in your hair. I think it's important to always use a good quality heat protectant, and I also think it's important for us to educate ourselves on the heating tools that we use on our hair. And by educate ourselves, I mean educate myself. I've never used a flat iron before, but recently I came to learn that flat irons are made from different materials and some of them are more suitable for fine hair than others. For example, ceramic hair strands are more suitable for fine hair because they distribute heat more evenly and gently compared to titanium flat irons. Also, if you enjoy the convenience of having heat-styled hair on a regular basis, I think that nowadays we have a lot of hair influencers who are giving out a lot of great tips on how to still maintain the health of your hair and how to still maintain your curl pattern despite using heat on a regular basis. There are products other than heat protectants that one can use if they're going to be using heat on their hair on a regular basis in order to maintain the health of their hair, to maintain the structure of their hair, and in order to retain their curl pattern. And like I mentioned, we do have a lot of great hair influencers that are giving out great tips on how to still use heat on a regular basis and still have healthy hair. And I think a lot of us are low-key tired of feeling restricted by the idea of not using heat on our hair, because I think in the past there used to be this idea that heat was bad. The moment you use heat on your hair, it's going to mess up your hair. And I don't know, I just feel like for the past few years a lot of us have been feeling restricted by that idea that using heat is bad for our hair. And there are some styles that a lot of us want to try, or there's just some things that we want to do to our hair, but it's pretty difficult to do some of those things with our hair without using heat. And from my observation, a lot of us are starting to be a bit more lenient with heat. We're using heat more frequently. Even myself, I've started using heat a bit more frequently on my hair in order to straighten my hair, for example. In the past, I used to just use some hairstyles that can stretch out my hair, but sometimes I do want to put some heat on my hair, and I guess you can do the African threading method, but sometimes I don't want to do all that, so I just use some heat to straighten my hair. So again, I encourage you guys, especially if you're trying to become one of those people who use heat on their hair on a regular basis, check out some of the natural hair influencers who are giving out tips on how to maintain healthy hair even though you're using heat on a regular basis. My fourth tip is always making sure that your hair is moisturized. This honestly should have been my first tip, but I didn't want to be too cliche because moisturize your hair, moisturize your hair. I feel like that's something we hear every time we go to the natural hair streets. There's always someone who's singing that song, moisturize your hair, moisturize your hair, moisturize your hair. Yeah, but but really, moisturizing your hair is probably one of the most important things you can do for your hair. Not just fine hair, but hair in general. Leaving your hair dry constantly is going to make it brittle, and eventually it's probably going to break, and we do not want that. So some of the ways you can moisturize your hair include doing some deep conditioning. That's a great way to moisturize your hair. Another way is by using a leave-in conditioner. So probably maybe after washing and deep conditioning your hair, you can apply some leave-in conditioner and try applying that leave-in conditioner a few times during the week, depending on your hair needs. But then again, since we're talking about fine hair, I think it's even more so important for us with fine hair to always make sure that our hair is moisturized because we have fine hair. Those are my 4 main tips on how to retain length on fine natural hair. If you have any more tips, please feel free to leave them in the comment section. Let me know what you think about today's video, and it feels so good to be back on camera making videos again. I look forward to recording more videos for you guys, and I miss you guys, honestly. I do not know most of you, but I always appreciate the support that you guys always give me on my videos by commenting, sharing my videos, and yeah, I really appreciate it. Okay, that's it for today's video, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.